Almost 98% of car owners make at least one of these engine oil mistakes, and most of them have no idea they're doing it. Some of these errors are so common that dealership mechanics actually count on you making them, and one specific mistake on this list is responsible for billions of dollars in premature engine damage every single year. Today, we're going over 11 fatal engine oil mistakes that destroy your engine's reliability and shorten its lifespan. Some of these will surprise you. A few will make you a little angry, and at least one will make you say, "I've been doing that my whole life." Here's 11 engine oil mistakes you 100% need to know. Let's begin now with mistake number 11. Mistake number 11, using the wrong oil viscosity. Walk into any auto parts store and you'll see dozens of oil bottles, 5W30, 10W40, 020, and most people just grab whatever's cheapest or whatever they remember from last time. Here's the deal, that number isn't just a label. It tells your engine exactly how thick the oil needs to be at cold start and at operating temperature. The W stands for winter, and the first number tells you how easily the oil flows when your engine is cold. The second number tells you how it behaves at around 212 DGF, which is normal operating heat. If your Toyota Camry or Honda Accord calls for 020 and you pour in 10W40 because it was on sale, that oil is too thick at startup. For the first few seconds before the oil fully circulates, your engine's metal parts are grinding against each other with barely any protection. Do that enough times over enough years, and you've shortened your engine's life by tens of thousands of miles. The manufacturer puts that viscosity number in your owner's manual for a reason. It's matched to the tolerances of your specific engine, the tiny gaps between pistons, valves, and bearings. Putting in the wrong grade is like wearing hiking boots to run a marathon. It technically works, but something's going to wear out a lot faster than it should. Here's the kicker. Running oil that's too thin is just as dangerous. 020 in an older engine designed for 10W30 means the oil film between moving parts gets too thin under load, especially in summer heat. Always check your cap or your owner's manual before you pour anything in. But wait! If that hidden detail just blew your mind, this next mistake could be even more costly. Mistake number 10, ignoring the oil change interval on your specific driving style. You've probably heard change your oil every 3,000 miles, more times than you can count. Here's what they don't tell you. That advice was accurate for engines made in the 1970s and 80s, and it's been kept alive mostly by oil change shops that benefit from you coming in more often. Most modern vehicles running full synthetic oil can go 7,500 to 10,000 miles between changes, and some BMW and Mercedes models are rated for up to 15,000 miles. But here's the catch. None of that applies if you're a severe service driver. Severe service doesn't mean you're drag racing. It means short trips under 10 miles, a lot of stop-and-go city traffic, driving in extreme heat like we get here in South Asia during summer, towing, or frequent idling. Under those conditions, your oil breaks down faster. It accumulates more moisture, more soot, and more fuel dilution than highway driving ever would. AAA's vehicle research team has confirmed that short-trip driving is one of the hardest conditions an engine can experience because the oil never fully heats up enough to burn off the water vapor that condenses inside. The fix is simple. If you mostly drive short distances in a hot climate, stay closer to 5,000 miles between changes even with synthetic oil. If you mostly do highway miles, you can safely stretch it. Your driving style matters more than any blanket rule a quick lube shop gives you. Here's the kicker. Your car's oil life monitoring system, if it has one, actually accounts for this. It's not a simple mileage counter. It factors in temperature, engine load, and trip length. Trust that system over the sticker on your windshield. You'd be very much surprised by this next mistake. Mistake number 9. Overfilling the engine oil. Most people know underfilling oil is bad. Not enough people know that overfilling is just as destructive. When you add too much oil, even half a quart over the full mark, the crankshaft starts dipping into that excess oil as it spins at thousands of RPMs. It whips the oil into a frothy foam. Aerated, foamy oil can't lubricate properly. It creates air pockets, and air pockets mean metal-on-metal contact inside your engine. On top of that, excess oil pressure can push oil past your seals and gaskets, causing leaks that cost $200 to $600 to fix at a shop. In worst cases on certain engines, overfilled oil can get sucked into the intake system and cause what mechanics call hydrolocking, which can bend connecting rods and total an engine outright. The right level is between the min and max marks on your dipstick, closer to max but never over it. If you accidentally overfill, you need to drain the excess. Don't just drive it off. It doesn't evaporate. Here's the kicker. Many people overfill because they add oil without checking the dipstick first. Always check, then add in small increments, half a quart at a time, and recheck each time. Trust me, this next one will shock you. Mistake number 8. Using cheap oil filters. You spend $12 on quality synthetic oil and then grab a $3 no-name filter off the bottom shelf. That filter is now the weakest link in your entire lubrication system. Engine oil filters do more than just catch particles. They maintain oil pressure, they have an anti-drainback valve that keeps oil from draining out of the filter when the engine is off, and they have a bypass valve that opens if the filter gets clogged. Cheap filters use cardboard end caps, flimsy media, and unreliable valves. Studies show that low-quality oil filters can collapse internally under high oil pressure, allowing unfiltered oil to bypass the media entirely and send metal particles straight through your engine. Brands like Wix, Bosch, or Mobil 1 filters cost between $8 and $15 and are worth every penny. The filter is protecting an engine that costs $3,000 to $8,000 to replace. This is not where you save $2. Here's the kicker. Always change your oil filter every single time you change your oil. Some people try to stretch filters to save money. An old, clogged filter on fresh oil is like putting clean water through a dirty pipe. If you've made it this far, we'd really appreciate you hitting the like button. It helps us keep making useful car tips videos just like this one. Mistake number 7. Ignoring oil leaks instead of fixing them. A small oil spot in your driveway feels like a minor inconvenience. Most people put a piece of cardboard under the car and keep driving. But here's what's actually happening. That leak is lowering your oil level slowly and silently. You don't get a warning light until your oil is critically low, and by then, damage has already started. A valve cover gasket leak, which is one of the most common, costs $150 to $350 to fix. An oil pan gasket leak runs $200 to $500. Those numbers sound annoying, but they're nothing compared to the $4,000 to $9,000 engine replacement you're looking at if low oil causes spun rod bearings or a seized engine. Fix leaks when they're small. Check your oil level every 2 to 3 weeks if you have a known leak. Here's the kicker. Some leaks look like oil but are actually valve cover oil burning onto the exhaust manifold, which produces that burning smell people always assume is normal. It's not. If you smell burning oil after driving, get underneath and look carefully. Wait till you hear about this next one. Mistake number 6. Skipping oil changes during storage. If you park a car for 3 months or more, a classic, a seasonal vehicle, or just a second car you rarely drive, a lot of people assume unused oil stays clean. It doesn't. Oil sitting in an engine picks up moisture, acids, and combustion byproducts over time, regardless of mileage. When you restart that engine after a long sit, that degraded oil is the first thing circulating through it. The correct move before long-term storage is to do a fresh oil change right before you park it. That way, clean oil sits in the engine the whole time, protecting internal surfaces. When you bring the car back out, you're starting with fresh protection. Here's the kicker. On startup after storage, crank the engine for a few seconds without starting it fully if your car allows it, to get oil pressure built up before combustion begins. This simple habit protects your engine during the most vulnerable moment. Cold start after months of sitting. Now, for a mistake that'll make many long-time car owners genuinely uncomfortable. Mistake number 5. Believing synthetic and conventional oil can never be mixed. This myth has been repeated so many times that it's basically automotive folklore. Here's the truth. Mixing synthetic and conventional oil will not blow up your engine or cause any chemical catastrophe. Modern synthetic oil and conventional oil are both petroleum-based at their core. Synthetics are just more refined and contain better additive packages. That said, mixing them is still a bad idea, not because they react, but because you're diluting the performance of your synthetic oil. If you've paid for full synthetic, topping off with conventional oil reduces its cold flow protection, its oxidation resistance, and its heat stability. You're essentially downgrading your oil's performance by a percentage equal to how much conventional you added if you're stuck on the side of the road and conventional oil is all you can get. Add it and get to a shop. That's the right call. But don't make a habit of it. According to oil manufacturers like Mobil and Castrol, mixing is an acceptable emergency measure, not a regular practice. Here's the kicker. If you ever switch from conventional to synthetic oil on a high-mileage engine, do it gradually if the engine has been on conventional its whole life. Synthetics are better at cleaning sludge, which means they can loosen deposits and clog up your oil passages fast. A gradual switch with a high-mileage formula first is the safer path. You'd be very much surprised by this next mistake. Mistake number 4. Neglecting to flush engine sludge before it gets out of control. Engine sludge is what happens when oil breaks down and oxidizes into a thick, tar-like gel. It blocks oil passages, starves critical components of lubrication, and can completely destroy an engine over time. Toyota had a well-documented sludge problem in the early 2000s on several of their V6 engines. Owners who followed longer oil change intervals ended up with sludged engines and $4,000 repair bills. The EPA has also flagged sludge as a significant contributor to premature engine failure across multiple manufacturers. The warning signs are a ticking or rattling noise on startup, a low oil pressure warning light, or visibly dark brown or black oil that looks more like mud than liquid on your dipstick. If you've bought a used car and don't know its oil change history, add a quality engine flush product before your next oil change. Brands like Seafoam or Liqui Moly Proline Engine Flush work by loosening deposits before you drain and replace the oil. Here's the kicker. You can prevent sludge almost entirely with one habit. Never go more than your manufacturer's recommended interval, and always use oil with the correct API certification rating for your engine. That little circle on the back of the oil bottle matters more than most people realize. Trust me, this next mistake is one almost everyone over 40 has made at least once. Mistake number 3, only checking oil level and never checking oil condition. Checking your oil means pulling the dipstick, wiping it clean, reinserting it, pulling it again, and checking that the level is between min and max. Most people stop right there, but the level is only half the story. The condition of the oil tells you just as much. Fresh oil is amber to light brown in color and smooth in texture. Old, degraded oil is black or very dark brown. If it looks gritty, smells like gasoline, or has a milky, creamy appearance, that last one is a serious warning sign of coolant mixing with oil, which usually means a blown head gasket. A head gasket repair runs $1,200 to $2,500 on average, but if you catch the coolant contamination early, you might stop the damage before it turns into a full engine replacement. Wipe the dipstick on a white paper towel every time you check. You can see the color and texture clearly that way. If the oil looks jet black and you're not due for a change yet, it doesn't necessarily mean it's failed. Some engines run dirtier than others. But if it feels gritty or smells wrong, get it changed early. Here's the kicker. On modern turbocharged engines, oil condition degrades faster than on naturally aspirated engines because turbo oil sees extreme heat on every single drive. Ford, Volkswagen, and Subaru turbo owners in particular should be extra attentive about this. Now we're getting into the top 3, and these are the big ones. Mistake number 2, using the wrong type of oil for your engine type. This goes beyond viscosity. Modern engines often require specific oil certifications that are tied to emissions technology, variable valve timing systems, or turbocharged components. Many newer vehicles require Dexos 1 Gen 3 certified oil, which is GM's own standard for their engines. BMW requires Long Life 4 rated oil for their diesel and some gasoline engines. Volkswagen requires VW 504.0 or 507.0 specifications. Using a generic 5W30 that doesn't carry these certifications in a car that requires them can interfere with the engine's variable timing system, accelerate catalytic converter wear, or cause deposits in the turbocharger oil supply lines. These repairs run $800 to $3,500 depending on the system affected. The right oil certification for your car is listed in your owner's manual and sometimes printed right on the oil filler cap. Here's the kicker. Even if you use the right viscosity and the right brand, using energy-conserving oil in an engine not designed for it can cause clutch pack slippage in certain automatic transmissions that share oil with the engine. Some older Hondas are particularly sensitive to this. Always cross-check the certification, not just the viscosity number. And now, mistake number 1. The one that destroys more engines than any other mistake on this list. Mistake number 1, running low on oil and not knowing it. This is it. This is the single most common, most preventable, most devastating engine oil mistake people make. Studies from the American Automobile Association show that low oil level is a contributing factor in a massive percentage of catastrophic engine failures in vehicles that are otherwise well maintained. The problem isn't dramatic, it's quiet. Your car doesn't shake or make a horrible noise as your oil drops from full to 1 quart low. You just keep driving, day after day, while the oil film between your moving metal parts gets thinner and thinner. At 1 quart low on a 4-quart system, your oil is working 25 kg harder than it was designed to. Oil temperature rises, oxidation accelerates, and your engine's bearings, which ride on a film of oil that's thinner than a human hair, start making contact with metal. By the time your oil light comes on, you're already potentially looking at bearing damage that will cost $1,500 to $4,000 to repair. Many modern engines, especially those with direct injection or turbos, consume a small amount of oil between changes by design. BMW openly states that some consumption is acceptable. This isn't a defect, but it means you can't rely on oil changes alone to maintain your level. You have to check it manually. Here's the kicker. All it takes is 60 seconds every 2 to 3 weeks. Pull the dipstick, check the level, top it off if needed. That one habit, done consistently, is worth more to the long-term health of your engine than any expensive additive, premium fuel, or fancy filter ever will be. So there you have it. 11 fatal engine oil mistakes that are quietly killing engines every single day. The good news is, every single one of them is 100% avoidable with the right information, and now you've got it. Which of these mistakes have you been making? Drop the number in the comments below. Whether it's number 11 or number 1, you're not alone. If you found this video genuinely useful, make sure you subscribe. We put out car tips and maintenance guides every week designed specifically for real drivers who just want to keep their cars running longer without spending a fortune. Your next video is already waiting for you on screen right now.